Hey, Warrior Saints. Happy Tuesday, the very last day of May. A beautiful May 31st to you all. Yesterday, Father Chris talked about seeing clearly and wading through kind of an issue that's all over the place right now, and especially as we go tomorrow and begin Pride Month. I'm going to talk about seeing clearly as being something that we need to see through the issues as they're being presented. And look at it in light of another hot button issue that we're currently dealing with, which is that of gun control. Now, I don't care if you want your guns or if you don't want your guns. That is not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about the merits of an armed society or the problems that come from a society that is armed. That is not what we're here to talk about. What we are here to talk about is how are you thinking through these issues? I want to read for you part of an email that my aunt sent to one of her senators, and it was a really well worded email. I thought it was someone who is writing to a Republican Republican senator as a Democrat, but also someone who has their firearms license, even though they're a Democrat. I know we don't think that that can exist, but it can. And she wrote in her email the following: I think about the First Amendment. What? We're talking about gun control. Isn't that the Second Amendment? Listen to what she has to say. We have the protection and freedom to speak, to write, and speak our opinions without fear of consequence until there are consequences. There's slander, libel, and defamation. What this says is that you can't just say anything. There are going to be consequences to your actions. Words do have consequences. They can inadvertently change the trajectory of a bright star within a political party or incite a mob to overthrow our government. She goes on to say that just because you can say whatever you want doesn't mean that you should say whatever you want. And at the end, she talks about this with the Second Amendment being the same thing. Just because you can have weapons doesn't mean that you should have all weapons. But every argument that we see when it comes to whether it's First Amendment rights or people saying things or gun control or I don't even know what else, any issue that you can think of, think about it. People are all or nothing. We are currently living in a society that is completely focused on all or nothing. And when we go into this all or nothing mentality, this everything is black or white, this pure dichotomy that exists without any other nuance, we lose sight of what is actually going on. And we're blinded by the muck, and we cease to see clearly. Father Chris talked about yesterday in the Gospel of Luke, when Christ encounters the blind man. Christ says to the man, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man says, "Lord, let me receive my sight." What he needs from Christ, and what we all need from Christ, is the ability to receive our sight. The ability to see through these complex issues that are completely and utterly being controlled in a way that is purely based on special interest groups and not based on the gospel of Jesus Christ, so that we can wade through these issues and get to the heart of the matter. We had someone in our parish who was running for political office who spoke to us on Sunday, and it was interesting. They talked about some topics that I started to bristle and was like, this has become a political stump speech. This is not what we are here for, and blah, blah, blah. And then I listened to what the topics they were talking about are: abortion, death penalty, things that have to do with life, transgender issues, things that have to do with what the church has to say about these issues that have been usurped from out of the church's purview and purely placed within a political context. If we do not see through that, we will never be able to get to a place where Christ can show us his way, because we are so blinded to Christ's way that we are simply following the way of these special interest groups and political pundits that are going on and on and on about something because they want to change how we think so that we blindly follow them. But we at the Warrior Saints movement want to show you a different way. We want to show you something else. We want to show you how to see clearly. Because we ourselves are fighting every day to find sight for ourselves. We are fighting every day to wade through this stuff so that we aren't just blindly following what the political parties have to tell us, but we are finding what Christ has to tell us. And you can fight through these things yourselves. There's a way to do it. Visit us, click the link, warriorsaints.org, and visit us on the Way of the Warrior Saint. When you get there, you're going to find a few ways that you can do this. As you scroll down, the best way to do it is to get our flagship program, The Way of the Warrior Saint, which is a video library that you will have access to that has tons of videos. We're nearing our 100th video in the Way of the Warrior Saint, but that 100th video doesn't take into account all of our special little offshoots that we've done. So there's hundreds, literally hundreds of videos in there that you will have access to that help you fight through all of these things, including an entire section on how do we see clearly? How do we wade through the mire so that our vision is no longer clouded? We can follow Christ's path and we can come out on the other side, fighting our way to become warrior saints, becoming better tomorrow than we are today. So join us. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. Get on the Way of the Warrior Saint. And until we see you tomorrow, keep walking on the Way of the Warrior Saint.